Hey everyone, it's Alex here, and on today's episode of the YaBonks Show, I have a very cool seniorage protocol called Champion Finance that I am going to pick apart on today's AMA here with Arron. Arron, do you want to say hi and maybe introduce yourself for the audience?
Yeah, so thank you, Alex. Yeah, hello everyone. I'm Arron from Champion Finance, and yeah, it's nice to be here today. Okay, let me take a little bit of time to introduce about myself. Yeah, I have joined in the crypto space from 2017 as a past-time investor. In addition, I run a number of technology projects related to the finance and education, and starting from the end of 2020, I have spent all my time in crypto and researching about the DeFi. So now I'm working full time for German Finance, and yeah, I hope with this MA we investor will have a better understanding about German Finance, and we can enjoy with it. Yeah.
Very cool. And for anyone curious, what is your accent? Where are you from?
Yes, I come from Vietnam, and yeah.
Cool. Awesome, man. And also, for anybody listening for legal reasons and all that, I just want to state that I consider all DeFi projects and tomb forks and everything like that. I consider these games. They're, high risk, high reward potentially. And I consider them games, and we're all participants here. So, for legal reasons, I just want to state that, give a little disclaimer for anybody watching, and this is a sponsored AMA for the record. And with all that being said, Arron, would you please give us a brief overview or an elevator pitch of what Champion Finance is?
Yes, okay. Thank you for your question. Actually, German Finance is the multi-peg elastic ego protocol. We went live on, I think,
Just
20.
just just to clarify, you said it's a multi-peg elastic algorithmic protocol,
Yeah,
right? Okay.
correct. Yeah, and we went like on the 22nd of the July. So it's more than 2 months since then, and a lot of things have changed. For now, we have total four token. The first one is the charm. The charm is a set token for every token, right?
And
We
Cham,
have,
does that stand for champion, like champion finance?
yeah,
Okay,
correct.
so Cham
Yeah,
token is
champ.
the champion token, and
Yeah,
that's your share token, right? Your okay,
correct.
cool.
Yeah, and we also have the UVIC. It's the back token. Back
UVIC,
to
okay.
USDC.
And
Yeah,
what does UVIC stand for? Because I know you had an AVIC token, but you recently switched it over to UVIC. Uh, I know
Yes,
VIC
because
stands for victory, but what does the U
Victoria.
stand for?
U stand for USDC because UVIC back to USDC.E.
Okay, okay.
Yeah,
So USDC.E victory token, and
yeah.
that's your main peg token, right?
Yeah. Actually, we have three back token right now. One is the UVIC back to USDC.
Okay.
Second one is the EVIC back to ETH, Ethereum,
Okay.
and the last one is BVIC. Uh, Actually, is incoming right now in around 2 or 3 days more. So BVIC will back to BTC. So we have total
Okay.
three back token. Yeah.
So you have three pegged tokens.
Yep.
You have UVIC, your main one, your stable pegged
Yep.
token, pegged with USDC.E. You have EVIC, Ethereum victory token, pegged to Ethereum, and you have BVIC, and that's Bitcoin victory. And that one hasn't come out yet, like you said. That's coming out in the next 2 or 3 days. And EVIC, Ethereum victory token, actually was just released a couple days ago, I believe. So Didn't you guys just release evic? Is that right?
No, we released the evic around 2 weeks already.
2 weeks. Okay. Okay. So that's still
2 weeks.
pretty new. And
Yep.
so all right. So carry on. You've got champion token, which is your reward and your share and governance token, and then you have the three
That's
pegged tokens: UVIC, EVIC, and BVIC. All right. Carry on from there.
yeah.
So what else from like a an overview? So you have those four tokens. What else can you tell me about Champion Finance?
Yeah, let's say that we actually we are a Tom Fog project, right? So it's like yeah. I think for overview of Champion Finance is like I already talked to you, but
Okay. Um
yeah.
so with that being said, I know I wanted to kind of cover like your updates. You got a bunch of stuff rolling out every couple days it seems like. So, do you have any news or updates for us before we dive in to the mechanics here because I have a long you guys are doing a lot of crazy stuff. I know what we just said sounded kind of simplified, but you guys have so much going on with this protocol. So before we jump into all of that, do you have any news or updates you want to share with the audience?
Yeah, actually, we have a lot of plan for Champion Finance, and yeah, and now we will run three pair token. That's I already tell you, right? With the three boardrooms at the same time on the Avalanche chain. And also we have some innovative features such as the champion booster pool and detonator. We will working with the EMP for detonator and also
Cool.
champion ETF. Yeah, champion ETF for three boardroom coming. So everything just
Okay.
starting. Yeah.
So you have three separate boardrooms, one for each of the pegged tokens, and then you said you have a champion booster pool, as
Yeah.
well as you're rolling out a detonator feature, um, partnered with EMP. And I
Correct.
actually did an awesome AMA with AJ from EMP Money. If you haven't watched that one, it's one of my most popular AMAs already. It's on my channel. Just look for
Yeah, I
AJ
see. I see.
Brockman is a legend, and we talk all about Detonator as a service, which you guys are taking advantage of. I think that's a great idea. I think it's a really cool product and service that they offer. And then Champion ETF, you said you're working on too. So Champion ETF, I'm guessing, is kind of like a basket of tokens that uh that will be offered to we'll get into that. So you said you got detonator coming, you got the ETF token coming, and then you've got the champion booster pools. So
Yep.
man, there's just so much to unpack here. And I want to show real quick your website here while we're talking because it might help the viewers understand what we're talking about and keep track of all this stuff. So here's the champion
Yeah.
token, and that is
Okay.
paired with wrapped AVAX. And this is all
Mhm.
on Avalanche right now. But you guys are planning to go multi-pool eventually, right?
Yeah, correct.
All right.
But
And
like yeah.
what's that?
Yeah, we will go to Mantil chain in the next year after we finish everything in the IVAC chain.
Okay.
Yeah.
Uh, so then you've got UVIC, your stable pegged coin. You've got EVIC, and that's Ethereum pegged. And then AVIC was your original pegged token, and that was
Yep.
pegged with USDC. And you recently switched you migrated that over to UVIC because you've added a few utilities and things like that to make it more sustainable and healthy for the protocol, right?
Correct. Correct.
All right. And you guys have almost $1 million in your TVL right now. So this surprises me because I am in a lot of Tomb Forks seniorage
Yeah,
protocols, and I had not heard of Champion Finance until like a week ago on one of my live shows. One of the other hosts mentioned Champion Finance maintaining peg more so than other Tomb Forks, and I was
yep,
like, "Wait, what? Who are these guys?" And you actually messaged me like a day or two later, and we started talking, and yeah, so you guys are actually one of the better performing Tomb Forks in the space right now in a bear market. So I just
yep,
want people to know, like, this one, Champion Finance, has been kind of flying under the radar because you guys haven't gotten a lot of publicity or marketing yet, but like performance wise and technology wise, you guys seem to be just absolutely killing it, which is
yeah,
great news for me because I'm looking for more Tomb Forks to play right now, and this seems to be right in my wheelhouse. Um,
yeah.
so with that being
Actually,
said,
a lot of support from the community. That's why
what's that?
we receive a lot of support from the community. Yeah, our
Yeah,
community is very, yeah. That's why we can keep the our TVL and something like that.
yeah, and I've been in your Discord server for a couple weeks now since we started talking, and I see a lot of people I consider friends in there,
Yep.
players in the space that are well known, and that's always a good sign to me when I see people I recognize in these servers, and so it like a lot of the bigger players out here in the space are in your Discord server, but I think the general wider DeFi audience, a lot of them might not have heard of you quite yet. So, um, and also because of that, some of the APRs on some of the rewards on your like pools and your boardroom are insane, like insane, and especially for 2 months in, these numbers are
Yeah.
just wild, dude. So like your farms are pretty good, right? Like between a 0.5% to like 2%, but your boardroom, which is printing and has been printing a lot, and yeah, the numbers are insane here. Like
Hmm.
your boardrooms, and we'll jump into this, but you've got like each boardroom has 3 different pools in them. It's not a typical boardroom. You have, yeah, your share token portion of the boardroom, but then you've got like you can stake an LP receipt token and
Correct.
get the peg token as reward, and you can also um, do that. You can also get the LP receipt token for another pair, which is champion AVAX, and the numbers here are crazy. So like at first you've got like about 6% if you just single stake champion in the boardroom. That's
Yep.
nuts. 6% a day. All right. And
6%. Yeah.
that's crazy. And that's rewarding in USDC.E victory token. So
Yeah.
in stable coin pegged token, victory token here pegged to USDC.E is worth right now more than peg, which is would be $1. It's
Yep.
worth $1.31 right now. So you're like 30%, 31% above peg. So with that being said, man, like this thing's printing like 6% a day, 30% above peg, and then the LP token here, if you were to take UVIC and pair it with USDCE and stake it in Yield Wolf to get the Yield Wolf LP token, and you stake that in this boardroom, that would get you
Yeah.
like 8.5% per day. And
Correct.
even crazier, if you take the share/reward token champion, which is
I'm
right
joking.
here, it's like $17.50 right now. If you pair that with wrapped AVAX and you stake that in Yield Wolf and you take the Yield Wolf receipt LP token and you stake that here in the boardroom, you'd get almost 11% return 11% rewards in UVic daily. All right.
Yep.
That's crazy. So by the time this video comes out, like people are probably gonna pile in here.
Yep.
Because I know just to let people know, I'm gonna throw some money in here. Not a crazy amount. I'm not a whale or anything yet, but I'm gonna throw probably a couple $100 in here, just to see what happens, just to be transparent with everybody. So okay, Aaron, I
Thank
am,
you.
yeah, and I'm
Yeah,
so
actually, yeah, it's going to decrease because now the TVL is still small, and if somebody coming, the APY will be decreased. But I think it's still very attractive.
yeah. I mean, this is nuts. If this like 10 almost 11% per day
Yeah.
means like if I were to sit in this for like 10 days, I'd basically get my initial back, plus I can just unstake it. And
Yeah.
just for people who don't know how tomb forks work, the boardroom prints when TWAP, time weighted average price, is above peg, and peg in this boardroom for the stablecoin USDC victory coin, peg is $1, and it's $1.30 right here. So this boardroom is printing, and uh, there is a timer here. So you can withdraw your initial after 6 epochs, I believe. Is it 6 epochs?
Yeah, CA CA.
And an epoch is 6 hours in champion
Yeah,
finance. So
correct.
so 36 hours. If you stake in here, you can withdraw your initial after 36 hours, and you can
Yep.
claim your reward tokens every 4 epochs, right?
3 epoch.
3 epochs. Okay, yeah.
Yep.
So 3 epochs. So after you stake in one of these, 18 hours later, you can claim your rewards, and then both timers reset. So
Yep.
it'll be 6 epochs again and 3 epochs again for these two.
Yep.
So that's basically how this works. So if you put anything in here, you gotta wait 18 hours to get your rewards, or 36 hours to unstake. And if you do anything like add or withdraw, if you do any actions here, it resets both timers. Just for clarification for anybody new to this kind of thing, that's how tomb forks work. All right, all right. Now, Aaron, we got so off topic already, but I just had to point out the crazy numbers in here because a lot of people will only watch the first 10 minutes of this, and like I wanted them to see how
Yep.
crazy this is. Also, the Chamely pool, which is going on for another 11 days. Super juicy rewards right now. You get paid rewards in like 3 or 4 different ways. You get AVIC, Cham, and you get we'll get back to this, but is this APR the aggregate? Is this the total reward that you would get in the Chamley pool?
Yeah, this one like the reward from the DAO fund, and actually the Chamili Pool is a special pool for to build the deep liquidity to evict. So we have the reward from DAO fund and also reward from the auto compound and also reward from the boardroom. Yeah, we have totally 4 reward in the Chamili Pool.
Okay. 4 rewards in the Chamley pool, and it's going on for 11 more days. So before we dive into all the details on these, on your whole thing, on your whole protocol, I just wanted to point out this
Yep.
11 days from the recording of this, and I'm probably going to publish this in 24 hours or so after I edit it and do all the work on it. So it'll probably be 10 days left for the Chamely pools. So I just wanted to point that out right away. That and the boardroom for UVic are printing like crazy right now. So with
Yeah.
that being said, Arron, now let's dive in to all the questions that I typed up for you while I've been exploring Champion Finance. So first off, what is the booster pool that you mentioned earlier?
Yeah, I think you already explained for the booster pool very clearly, right? So we test the like we allow the people to stake the LP in a ballroom. Like you can see, yeah, you can see the LP for UVIC and LP for Cham. Yeah. So so that uh so actually the user will still earning from the auto compound and also earn from the ballroom. That's why we have the very high APR.
So, oh wait, I that's something that I forgot to mention. If you stake one of these LPs in Yield Wolf, it
Yep.
auto compounds in Yield Wolf
Yeah. Auto compound in
while
UVIC.
you're getting paid rewards in the boardroom at the same
Mhm.
time.
Yeah, correct. That's why we call it booster pool. It's
I
like a
see.
double reward. Yeah.
So, is this APR showing the compounding, the auto compounding plus the UVIC rewards combined?
Yeah, correct, correct.
Okay.
You can see the APR of the farm in the top one
Nice.
1.06. Yeah, from the
So,
farm and
and this is what I would get in Yield Wolf
yep,
if I were to stake it here. Well, this is the other pool. So let me pull up Yield Wolf for, I'm looking at Cham AVAX. Let me pull this over here. Okay, so yeah, Cham AVAX LP and Yield Wolf is doing like a percent daily. It's got almost 78,000 TVL here. And so 1% is coming from Yield Wolf, and the
yep,
other 9.3% or so is coming from the UVIC rewards, right?
correct.
Okay. Cool. Good to know. So if you are staked in here, you would only this UVIC here would be that 9 point whatever percent that we just talked about would show up here, and then this 1% would be in here, and that's separate. So if people are looking and they're expecting 10.48% to show up here in the UVIC earned in the boardroom, they would only see the 9% or so here, right?
Yeah, correct.
And then the other 1% would be accounted for here
Yeah,
in
from
the auto compounder.
yeah,
Okay. I wanted to clarify that before anybody says, hey, it says 10 point whatever percent, but I'm only getting 9% here, right? I just want
yeah.
to clarify before people start fudding in the Discord server about that. Um, cool, man.
Because
That's
yeah, the LPU stake in the ballroom already increased by yeah by auto compound, right? So then the APR for them will increase too in over time. Yeah.
okay. Yeah. So that's interesting. So the value of that LP receipt token, as it's going up in value because it's growing,
Yeah,
it's auto compounding.
correct.
This the dollar amount here that you have staked will be
Will increase.
going up at the same time.
Yeah.
That's crazy, man. That's crazy. And
Yeah, that's why we use auto compound for this.
man, and there are only a couple I mean, there aren't many protocols that do that. It's becoming more popular, but it's very rare still. But it's becoming a thing where people are thinking about receipt tokens, and it's like another layer of abstraction. Like it's It's another like derivative that you can play with.
Yep.
And I've done a video in the past on I don't mean to mention another protocol, but I did a video on Alto protocol, and they have like the bank, the Deep Blue Bank, and they also do like staking of LP tokens, which I thought
Mm-hmm.
was crazy a few months ago, and and to see it come up again, especially in a tomb fork, a seniorage protocol, is very exciting for me because I am all about seniorage protocols at the moment. And I don't know how I never heard of Champion Finance until like 2 weeks ago, man. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, so this this is crazy, and I want to show uh so okay, before we break down what makes you guys, oh okay, I just want to mention it. You guys have a very special feature that no other tomb fork has.
Yep.
Before we jump into the rest of these questions, I just want to say they have what's called negative rebasing. Okay, now rebasing I know has a bad stigma attached to it lately because rebasing protocols like like Titano and Seifu and Libero, like it affects the price and it makes the price go down because of inflation, but that's positive rebasing. This
Yep.
is this you guys have a negative rebasing feature which works the opposite way. So if you guys get too far below peg, you have an emergency feature that switches on automatically and it negatively rebases, which means it automatically lessens the supply. It deflates the supply of the pegged tokens
Yeah.
and
Correct.
increases the price automatically. So if I'm holding the peg token in my wallet and it's like at 70% of peg, all of a sudden it'll kick on negative rebasing and the amount of those tokens in my wallet decreases, but the price, the value of those tokens increase. So the actual like dollar value would stay the same in my wallet, but the
Correct.
the
Yep.
price of the pegged token itself would be rising and the quantity of the pegged token would be decreasing. So I would have less pegged tokens that would be worth more money,
Yep.
and the value in my wallet would stay the exact same. So like the dollar value in my portfolio would be unchanged, but the pegged token would be just automatically going back up to peg because of negative rebasing. And if you
Yep.
understood anything I just said, you probably realize how important what I just said is because it is innovative. That is a great use for rebasing that actually makes sense. Negative rebasing in this specific use case, I think personally, is brilliant. And I think it eventually will become a standard feature in tomb forks and seniorage protocols going forward. I'm calling it now. I think you guys really came up with something very smart here that I am very it blew my
Yep.
mind when I finally understood what you guys are doing, and I think that's why you guys have maintained peg so much for so long. So there you go. I think that's genius what you guys did.
Yeah. Actually, I don't like the rebase because the rebase will be cut off the circulating supply, right? So, but we think that is our the emergency. Yeah, we will use the rebate for emergency case. Because the rebate we will have to stop the panic sell, and when the people seeing the price falling down. So the panic sale happened in the many project, and I
Yeah,
think it's main reason for the crash. So
and
yeah,
a
I
lot of
think
people call that like the tomb fork death spiral, right?
yeah,
Where if you lose peg and the boardroom stops printing, people lose faith in the project and then panic sell, like you said. And
yeah,
that could be the death of a project, but you guys have an automatic fail-safe in place to prevent that from happening.
Yep.
And if you look, so UVIC's very new. This just came out. That's why you're seeing this chart like this. This is UVIC. So 3 days, like it pumped like crazy because everybody's excited. And then, this is all new tokens have this. But
Yeah.
AVIC is,
Liquidity.
What's that?
Because low liquidity, that's why the price will be grow up and down. Yeah.
And AVIC has been your main pegged token up until just a couple days ago when you guys switched over to UVIC. So the liquidity is low on UVIC,
Yep.
and you're transferring over the AVIC liquidity to UVIC. Looks like this is some kind of arbitrage happening. I'm guessing you guys have like an arbitrage feature set up to transfer over that liquidity. Is that right? Do you guys have your own arbitrage bot?
Yeah, we have the bot. Yeah.
Cool. So if you guys see like these kind of candles here that happen at the same time, that is most likely the project's arbitrage bot right now switching over the liquidity from AVIC to UVIC, and the prices eventually will equalize. And if you look over the past 2 months, obviously, you got the crazy initial Genesis phase where everything is wild, but look at how it's evened out. And when you guys get 80% or below peg, that negative rebasing feature kicks on, and it turns on until TWAP goes above peg again. So that's why you see this happen. Boom, goes down, comes back up. Boom, goes down, comes back up. Goes down, comes back up. Look at this. This is genius because it takes out that whole like panic sell mentality that can basically cause a death spiral. So you don't even let it get to that point because they really never should get to that point. Most of these projects have enough TVL and money in them to be able to prevent that from happening. And I just think this is a very clever way to use deflation. Negative rebasing is a form of deflation that it instantly increases price, right? So a lot of people hear deflation, they think of burning. Now, if you just burn a token, nothing happens to the price. You usually have to do a buyback and then a burn, and it's not a perfect system. If you have negative rebasing built in, that price action happens instantly inside your wallet or wherever those tokens are located, basically in the world, wherever they are. There are a few places this doesn't happen, though. Do you want to explain where the negative rebasing happens and where it doesn't happen? I know I'm jumping ahead a couple questions, but while we're on this tangent, I just want to, while I've explained how negative rebasing works, do you because I know it happens in the wallets, and I know it doesn't happen in the boardroom rewards, right?
Yeah. Actually, the rebate will happen for all the token in the wallet, in the LP, and only except the token unclaimed from the boardroom and the node and in DAO and POL fund. So basically, all will be affected by rebase.
Okay.
Yeah.
So just to clarify, the negative rebasing that happens to the pegged tokens if they drop to 80% or lower, or I think if they have 10 consecutive epochs below
60%
peg.
now. 60% now for UVIC and EVIC. We already changed.
Okay. So if UVIC and EVIC go 60% or lower,
yeah, correct,
the negative rebasing kicks on until it's above peg again. Or if there are 10 consecutive epochs below peg, then it kicks on and brings it up above peg again. And we can see that happening here. And that's why you get such a beautiful looking chart for that pegged token. It's actually like algorithmically pegging it, right? Like a lot of people say they've got an algorithmic peg token, but most of it's community driven. This is algorithmically actually pegged. The only other project I know really doing it in a algorithmic automated fashion is Dex Finance, and they're one of the other projects, Tomb Forks, that have been above peg more often than not. I think Dex Finance has remained above peg. You guys, I think, lately are one of the only other Tomb Forks that have been above peg. So, like, that's it. Whatever you guys are doing is working. And it's been 2 months, right? So with that being said, when it negatively rebases to bring the price back up, it affects all of the peg tokens, UVIC, AVIC, whichever peg token is in question. It will do it in all the tokens in wallets and all the tokens in the LPs, which means it's important to know when the negative rebasing happens in the LPs, that means the price will stay the same, right? So, or like the value, if you will, like the actual like value of the token will remain the same even though the price is changing. So it does that in the LPs, and that's what changes the price of the token to go up compared to what it's paired with. Like, so if it's paired with USDC, but the price of UVIC or AVIC is going up from the negative rebasing, that's why on, Dex Screener here, you see the price rebounding because the pair is going like this, right? So anyway, and then the boardroom rewards right here, if you have any UVIC rewards or EVIC rewards or AVIC in one of the boardrooms and you haven't claimed them yet, they will be unaffected by the negative rebasing, which means the quantity of those tokens here will remain the same. However, the dollar value, the price of those tokens, whenever you go to claim them and if you sell them later, will be worth more. So I as I was going through all your documentation, by the way, you've got like a 40-page white paper. I've gone through it a few times now. It is quite the read. It's very educational. If you guys have any questions about any of this stuff, go read their white paper. Their documentation's just insane. You've got so much great information here. So everybody read this, and what you'll find out is if you're thinking about how to make a lot of money, one strategy...
we mentioned very clearly in our documentation. That's why everything we mentioned in our documentation.
The documentation is very thorough, and not many projects have thorough documentation, and a lot of other projects just copy other people's documentation, but you can tell you guys wrote this out specific for your project. Like, this is very cool because you guys, in your own words, are very clearly and accurately explaining these unique mechanisms like the negative rebasing that nobody else has that I know of in a seniorage protocol. So with that being said, a strategy I came up with, and this is not financial advice at all, right? I don't know if this will work or not. I haven't tried it yet, but my strategy is I am going to, I'm going to put stuff in the boardroom while you guys are above peg, and I am not going to claim the rewards. I'm going to leave the rewards accruing here, and I am going to wait for whenever you guys dip below peg again, and if that negative rebasing kicks on and the price of the token goes up, then the price of the tokens here are going to go up, and uh and the amount that will be here will remain unchanged. Now, if I had claimed these rewards into my wallet and I hadn't sold them yet, when that negative rebasing happens, the amount goes
It will
down, but
go down.
but the price goes up. So the value
Yep.
is technically the same in my wallet, but in the boardroom here, if they're unclaimed, the quantity stays the same, but the price of the UVIC tokens going up on the market. So, like, your value overall in here
Yeah.
goes up. That's
You're
a
very
little.
smart.
What's that?
You're very smart.
Debatable, but I figured that one out though. So I think that's a super cool strategy, and thank you, by the way, thank you. But I when I was reading this white paper, I came up with that. I'm sure you guys have all talked about that publicly in the Discord and stuff. But yeah, I thought that was like, oh, that's a genius idea. And same with the nodes, right? The nodes are not affected either, correct?
Yeah.
So if you lock up in the nodes, then uh the quantity that you have staked and locked up for the nodes stays the same, but the price will go up when that negative rebasing happens. So whenever you unstake from your nodes, you'll have that same amount of the pegged token that you locked up, but they'll be worth more because of the negative rebasing making the price go up.
Yeah.
And the same goes for your DAO fund protocol owned liquidity, right? You guys, the rebasing, negative rebasing doesn't happen in the protocol owned liquidity either.
Yeah, correct.
Okay.
Yeah, POL and DAO as well.
POL, for those who don't know, POL stands for protocol owned liquidity. In seniorage protocols, a lot of the liquidity is owned by the end user. Participants like me who make my own LPs, my own liquidity pairs, and stake them in the farm, or in your case, even in the boardroom. And that's how, you liquidity farm, right?
Yep.
So technically, most seniorage protocols using the standard template are mostly user-owned liquidity, but you guys are building protocol-owned liquidity to increase price stability. Is that right?
Yeah, correct.
Cool. Also, that detonator, the EMP detonator as a service that you guys are going to have, that will also it's a genius way to build protocol owned liquidity to strengthen the entire ecosystem and deepen the liquidity that's owned by the protocol and not owned by people like me who someday might break my liquidity pair and sell. So that way you guys can keep building the liquidity of the ecosystem, and the users actions have less and less effect on that liquidity, and it stabilizes the entire ecosystem. Did I explain that correctly?
Yeah, that's very, very important because the liquidity is very important for every project. So we we must control it. Yeah.
Cool.
So with the detonator, we are on Discord with the EMP. So we will have the detonator in this month.
This month you're gonna have the detonator in October.
Yeah, correct.
Wow. All right. That you guys are moving fast on some of this stuff, man. It's like every few days, it's like we got this and this is next, and then so that's awesome. Some projects like have all these things laid out, and they never execute on them. But since I've been talking with you, you guys have been nonstop rolling stuff out. So like by the time people watch this, like so much it will have changed and have been added. So you guys are actively building, and that's a good thing to see. All right, so um, let's talk about another new thing that you guys are building. What is Champion ETF?
Yes. I think you know about the ETF in the Dex Finance, right?
Yes, Dex Finance has an ETF style reward token that
Yeah, it
uh,
is same. Because the problem with the Tom Fog now is the inflation and the panic sell on the back token. So after
yes.
they earn from the bottom, they will sell on the back token to and lead to the debate. So the champion ETF will be create to overcome the disadvantages. So the back token printed will be controlled by the protocol, and protocol will decide we will decide to sell or not, depend on the TWAP and also the treasury. So the user will receive the ETF token instead of the back token, and then they can use the ETF token to swap to other assets like the BTC or ETH or USDC or something from the ETH funds. Yeah, that's the
Hmm.
way. So we
Okay.
can control the back token.
Very, very cool. And that has worked so well for Dex Finance.
Yep.
And I think because of that, that's why they've never lost peg, because they've essentially uh, diluted the pegged tokens paid out in the boardroom with
Yep.
blue chip tokens and other tokens all mixed in there, which still give you value, uh,
Mm.
dollar value if you went and sold everything, but the sell pressure on the actual pegged token itself is minimized, which
Yeah.
keeps psychologically everybody happy. It keeps the boardroom printing. It makes
Mm-hmm.
the tomb fork, the seigniorage protocol, very
Yep.
healthy because it limits the inflation on the pegged token, it limits the sell pressure on it, which keeps its price high and
Yep.
manageable. But at the same time, you can pay out in other ways, like your ETF fund will pay out, like you
Mhm.
said, in Bitcoin, Ethereum, and whatever
That's
else you guys have in there, right?
yeah, correct.
Cool, man. I love that idea. I think Dex Finance hit the nail on the head with that. I think it was brilliant, and I'm glad to see uh you guys basically saying, "Hey, we see that working. Let's do the same thing here." And
Yeah.
it's I think if you do it right, it's only going to improve Champion Finance long term. So, I mean, even without that, look at you guys have basically maintained peg and like yeah, it dips below for just a few epochs, but it comes right back up from your system. But that ETF will make these like dips, I think, much smaller, if at all, right? So
Yeah. Cool. It's
it,
more stable.
it'll be even more stable. So I love that you guys are seeing like what's working for other people and being like, yeah, let's use that, and okay, let's use that, and let's take that, and just like building. It's basically you guys just are adapting, right? And I
We
love it.
content is learning, right? We need to learning everything from the other. If they good, we can take and apply to our project. Yeah.
Yeah, I
That's
think
learning.
that's awesome. You guys are thinking that way. You're staying agile and you're adapting with the times. Rather, because if you're not growing, you're dying, right? And that's what
Yeah. Correct.
happens. These projects get stagnant. They're not building. They just like fork something and then just that's it. But you guys are nonstop building, improving, upgrading, taking what works, what's trending, and and there's even more. So, with all that being said, um, you guys also are coming out with your own decks, which is popular as well. Um, while we're talking about all your features, do you want to mention the decks right now, or do you want to save that for the end?
Yes, for the days we also developing the days now, the balancer days for. So I think we can launch the deck in November,
Okay.
and
So a balancer DEX, for those who don't know, balancer is a very large and popular decentralized exchange. I think balancer's on Ethereum. Am I right? On Ethereum network. Uh, yeah, I think balancer's on Ethereum. Anyway, and what it does is they're very complicated. If you haven't looked into a balancer style DEX, you should. They're very cool, but basically it takes away the standard LPs as we know them with like a
Yeah.
pancake swap or a Uniswap style DEX or a Trader Joe. Those are to me are like the basic DEXs. The balancer style DEX is like the next level where
Yeah.
it's
It's
so
totally different.
totally different, very powerful, gives a lot of control and revenue generating methods, like you were saying, and also has like governance and voting to allow participants and the stakers, the liquidity providers, to be able to kind of direct where the majority of the DEX rewards go for liquidity providers so they can kind of guide their own journey in terms of like what they want to provide liquidity for and get paid for. So if they want to get paid more for blue chip stock or blue chip crypto, they can. If they want to get paid more for stablecoin farming, they can. Anyway, tell me about what you guys have planned for your balancer style DEX in November.
Yes. Actually, the we are building our DEX. So the DEX will add additional utility for our current token. And generate the revenue stream for our protocol and investor. So we will bring on our token to the DEX, so that our holder can take more the revenue from the DEX as well, from the swap fee or something. Yeah.
Okay, so the swap fee. So for those who don't know how DEXs work, they take a small fee, and a part of that fee goes to their profit, the DEX itself, like that's their service fee for making the swaps. And then they also take a little bit of a fee for the liquidity providers, for the reward tokens that get emitted to the liquidity providers. Now, the portion of the DEX fees that go to the DEX profits, you are going to use to support your
Buyback
tokens.
token. Yeah.
So you're going to do like buybacks of
Buyback. Yeah.
what? So yeah, so explain to me how you guys are going to use the DEX fees to support your tokens.
It's like we will have the fund to buy back and burn the token, the peg token, to support the protocol. Yeah, you can see that we will combine the DEX and also the Tom fork. So the people they provide the LP in the Tom fork will also can provide LP in the DEX, so they can have the more incentive for the liquidity provider.
Okay, so people will be able to stake their LPs or to basically provide liquidity for these different pairs on your DEX and then earn their rewards on that DEX.
Yeah, on the DEX and also in the Tom fork.
And also in
and also in the booster room. Booster pool.
So you can take your LPs and stake them in here like you're doing right now with like the Yield Wolf LP receipts, and you can take those receipt tokens and stake them in a booster pool in the boardroom. You'll be able to do that using your balancer style DEX liquidity pool receipt tokens. You'll be able to take those, and while you're earning liquidity rewards on your balancer style DEX, you will be also able to earn booster pool rewards in the boardroom with the receipt token.
Yeah, correct.
That's a tongue twister, all of that. Yeah. Cool. That's
what we deploy the DEX now. Yeah. We
What's
can
that?
have, yeah, we can do many things with deck.
Yeah, and th- like I have done an entire AMA just on a balancer style decks itself, and it was like 2 hours long, and we barely scratched the surface. I feel like so another Tomb Fork that I am actually in Ames DeFi. Their
Mm,
like team built a balancer style decks on Binance Smart Chain called Equinox, and
mm.
they're actively applying these principles to support their other protocols like their Tomb Fork, and it's working well. They're able to increase the liquidity and use the fees for buybacks and burns. So when you guys do your buybacks and burns from the DEX revenue, are you going to use it to support the pegged tokens or the champion token, the share
Yeah,
token?
we will support the back token.
Okay.
Yeah, we will support that token. And actually, the charm token will be used as a governance token in our days.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
So the DEX itself will be using the champion token as its reward token and governance token.
Uh, the charm will be used as a governance token because we have the voting on balancer days, right? You know the voting in balancer days.
Right?
So
The V
yeah, the V
I,
charm. We have
V-Cham.
the, yeah, V
Yeah,
charm.
V-Cham.
And then we will have another token to reward the liquidity provider.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
So the Cham token itself though would not be um rewarded to the liquidity providers on the DEX, or would they?
Correct, correct. We will have another token.
You'd have another token. Okay. Do you have a name for it yet?
Not yet. Yeah,
Okay. Okay.
yeah,
I'll keep my ear out for that one. So, uh yeah, so that's awesome and that's coming in November. Now, let's backtrack a little bit. I want to cover some of the more like standard questions that I ask that my audience really appreciates, like the risks, the security, the
yes.
team. Let's cover some of that stuff. What so okay, who else is on the core team, and what countries are everybody from?
Yeah, we have three people in the core team, including me and Arita and Peter. So Arita is our head of that. So he is working in Japan, and Peter head up our community. And now he's working in Singapore, and we have some other from the over the world. Even we have some guy from the US and UK as well.
Nice.
So you know that, yeah, crypto work around the clock. That's why so our team can support the community 24 hours per day.
Yeah, it is
Yeah,
a round the clock. That is
yeah,
why I drink so much tea and
clear.
coffee. So, all right. So it's you, and then you got Arita. Arita is the head of development and Arita is in Japan. And then you have
Yeah,
Peter, and he
Peter.
is the head of community management. And
Yeah, correct.
Peter is in Singapore. You said right?
Yep.
Cool. And you, Aaron, are in Vietnam, right?
Yeah, correct.
So you are like opposite side of the world, almost like exactly from where I'm at in Florida in the United States.
Yeah, correct.
Cool, man. All right. So, are any of your team members KYC'd, and with who?
Yes, actually, we have two member from our team is KYCs, me and Arita, and we were KYC by Interfi. You can check the certificate for KYC in our website.
All right. So you
Yeah,
and Arita are both KYC'd by Interfi Network, and here's
yeah,
the KYC. Check it out. And
yep.
yep. And I have and Interfi is a legit KYC company. I've known about them for months. I've worked with other projects that have been KYC'd by them, so they're not
Yeah.
a fly by night KYC organization. They've been around for a while. So
Yeah.
now another hot topic these days is how is the team compensated by the project?
Yes. Actually, we already mentioned very clearly in our document that the team will have the 7.5% of the charm token, and the token will be vesting in around 12 months. And that's all. So, of course, we have the personal investment in the project as well. So we can take some profit.
Okay, and
Yeah.
that's good to know, and that's a very common compensation structure for a seniorage protocol where the team gets allocated a portion of the share token, in this case
Yeah.
champion. You said 7.5% of the champ supply, which, by the way,
Yep.
the champion token is emitted for 12 months, right?
Yeah. Correct.
So the share token in a Tomb Fork usually is emitted as rewards for farming for 12 months. Some other protocols change that to maybe 2 years or 6 months. It depends. But 12 months is standard.
Yeah.
So for 12 months, while champions being emitted as rewards, you guys will have your team tokens will be vesting, and then at the end of that, you guys will be able to do whatever you want with that 7.5% of the champion tokens. And that is all good in my book. So if you guys aren't familiar with seniorage protocols, that's a very standard way for the team to receive compensation for their work. So great, great to know. And then you also have personal investment in this too. So that's a good sign that you guys believe in your own project.
Yeah, of course, my man. Yeah, actually, I invest a lot in my project as well.
Awesome. Well, cool,
Yeah.
man. I'm going to invest. Well, I don't like using the word invest because, regulatory uncertainty in this whole space and everything. So, like I said, I like to think of DeFi projects as web based games, right? So, I am going to play around in Champion Finance myself, and I might throw in a few tokens and see what happens. Not financial advice, by the way. Yada, yada, yada. Um, so next question. Are your smart contracts audited? And if so, by who?
Yes. So all the contract audited by Zero X Squad, and I think Zero X Squad is very well known auditor in the DeFi space, right? So
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, actually, we spend a lot of money for them.
Yeah. And actually, I have known about Oxguard for a long time, and let's see. Here we go.
Yeah.
So
So
here is the evic token, for example, and
yep.
it's a very standard audit. And check these out when you guys have time, but everything passes. The only issues that that I found in any of the audits were low severity issues. So according to Oxguard, there's no high or medium security issues. It's all low severity stuff, mainly like I think one thing was like maybe like a gas optimization recommendation they might have had, and a centralization issue, which any team managed project has centralization powers, right? So like you guys can change how like the percent of rewards emitted in the boardroom to different things. And some people like to see complete decentralization, but in a project like this where you got to manage things carefully uh
I think
to
you need to manage this because sometimes we can change depend on the prior action, right? And we can change depend on the actually situation. But I think
Exactly.
no problem. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. So I think especially in like a seniorage protocol or a protocol where you're constantly building and adapting to conditions, I think you need to have a certain level of centralization and control, and that's okay with me as long as the team is trustworthy and hasn't, done anything shady. You're on here on camera, which is huge, right? Not many uh teams have a team lead that is doxed out here, KYC'd. So I just want to give props to you for putting your face out there, talking with me like this publicly. That
Yeah.
personally inspires confidence. So, good on you for that.
Thank you.
Yeah. All right. So Oxguard is a legit uh, audit company, by the way. They're not cheap. They've been around for a long time. I've read a lot of Oxguard audits since I've been out here. So that's all good. Also, do you guys have multi-sigs and or time locks on any of your contracts?
Yes. Actually, we have the multi-sig for the protocol wallet as well. We call it POL. The POL wallet is multi-sig, and also some contract. Actually, we still have the upgrade label, so that's why we have the time lock for the contract.
Say that again.
Yeah, we have the some contract upgrade label and have the time lock.
Okay. And
Yeah.
so you have an upgradable contract. Now, a lot of people might hear that, and if they understand how smart contract proxies work, it might raise red flags for them. So I want to kind of cover that. And you actually have a whole section in your documentation here where you
Yep.
explain your time locking and proxy setup. So for those who don't know, an upgradable contract is basically a proxy contract where on the blockchain, the smart contract that is a proxy just basically points to another smart contract called the implementation contract. And what it allows you to do is if you need to upgrade or change your smart contract, since you're using a proxy, you can just have it point to a new contract that you deploy and then you just switch the implementation contract to that new smart contract. So a lot of people have concerns about scammers rug pulling using uh, proxy contracts by swapping out the implementation after the fact with something nefarious. However, the that's the that's one of the potential cons of a upgradable proxy contract. But
Mm-hmm.
the pro is that it allows you to adapt, upgrade, fix bugs, change your code basically because nobody gets the code for anything right the first time, the second time, or the 100th time. Usually, you have to constantly upgrade and patch things, upgrade things. So that's the pro. So those are your pros and cons, people. You can, it's another level of centralization, basically. Now, what you guys have done here to ensure another level of security for the community is you've implemented a time lock on your
Correct.
proxy contract, right?
Yeah. We set the time lock for all the upgrade label contract. That's why we have no issue about the rig.
And so what that means with the time lock is uh before any new contracts are launched, any new implementation contracts are launched that the proxy would then point to, uh there will be a time lock, which means before they can make a change to the proxy contract and change which implementation contract it points to, there will be a generally a 24 to 72-hour period where before that change can be made, an
Mm-hmm.
event an event is emitted and people can basically, people will know in the community and people who are watching this stuff will know, hey, they're going to change the implementation contract in the next 24 to 72 hours. And if anybody thinks that's a security concern, they can withdraw or exit or whatever until they see what happens. And at the end of that 24 to 72 hour time lock, then the change happens. That's how a time lock works. It basically it lets everybody know a change is coming in the next 24 to 72 hours, and then the change happens at the end of that locked time period, right? Did I explain all that correctly?
Yeah, correct. Totally correct.
Very cool. And I'm glad you're using a time lock. It is considered best practice in terms of security, and not many protocols use time locks. So
Yeah.
good for you for that. And you guys also have the transaction links here to see their time lock contract deployment and everything like that. So you guys can go
Yeah.
check that out on Snowtrace if you want.
Yeah.
Cool.
Everyone
All
can
right.
check it.
Yeah, and dude, your documentation, and I know saying dude is very informal, but we've spent hours and hours talking now face to face before this AMA. So we're obviously on like a friendly level. So like you guys have such great documentation. You have links to all the transactions and the smart contracts. You have all the contracts and the protocol owned wallets and accounts all listed on here. It's super easy to find anything. If you have any concerns, go check it out for yourself. They've really, I mean, you guys documented everything, and I love seeing that kind of stuff. So,
Yeah.
with all that being said, awesome KYC audits, time locks, multi sigs. You guys have all that. You're doxed. So in terms of like my standard security and risk assessment, you guys fare pretty well compared to a lot of the other projects out here. You guys are following a lot of the best practices. So very, very good in my opinion. Now, a few other kind of subjective questions I have for you about security and risk. Would your project be able to survive if you or one of the other core team members left to go do something else?
Yeah, this is a very good question. So, okay, let me tell you this. In our vision, we are not just another Tom Ford. We are not only the Tom Ford. We have been working hard day by day to build our ecosystem. Our vision is become an ecosystem, not only the Tom Ford. So, with our product, right? You can see our decks or something, game file or something. So, actually, we can promise that we never leak the protocol. So actually, our protocol can go on this way long in this bear market. So I think it's not only the effort by the core team, but also from all the team member and the the community as well. So if any member of our core team leave, yeah, actually there will be a center of difficulty, but I think we will overcome.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, and they're like pros and cons to that. Like, the pro is like the people on your team are very good at what they do
Yeah.
and everything, and they have the trust in place and all the work that they've done. But the con would be, it's hard to replace people, right?
Yeah.
But you're saying it would be difficult but possible to replace
Yeah.
a team member if worst case scenario you had to.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. Well, good to know. So, and there are like with your multi sigs and everything, if somebody were to leave, you would be able to like pass off that
To
um
another.
to another person. Okay.
Yeah.
Good. All right. Now, do you think the project would survive if this bear market continues longer? You alluded to that a little bit in your previous answer, but do you want to kind of talk about that a little more?
Yeah, actually, I believe that the bear market will be end soon, and we can see everything turn back. Because I strongly believe in the blockchain technology and also the DeFi. But I think this is very difficult time now. But our project, Chamber Finance, is still, you see, we are still on the project that can be maintained and also developed in this time. So that's why I believe in our vision and also team capacity, and along with the support from the community. Actually, for us, the beer market time is a good opportunity to focus on the perfecting our product. So yeah, I think the spring will come after the winter, right?
Yeah, I think so, and I'm not going to try to time the market or like make any like calls on when I think we've hit bottom, but
Yeah,
I think we're getting close. And yeah, you're right. The spring does come after winter, so after the bear market, there are bull markets. So eventually, we're coming out of this thing.
yeah,
But you're saying like the bear market's the perfect time to perfect your product and to build and innovate uh,
correct.
and everything that you guys are doing right now. And
Yeah,
it's really like a testing period. So the people who are out here still building, still doing cool stuff in the bear market, those are the like grit. Like those people have grit, right, and determination. Like a bear market's not gonna stop somebody like that. And when a bear market or when a bull market comes, those
hmm,
people are probably going to do very well because they've been working in the worst of times. So when the best of times come around, that level of effort and those lessons learned, that experience gained, is going to be so valuable in the bull market when literally last bull market, money was just flying around everywhere out here in DeFi. It was crazy the amount of money out here
yeah,
just going everywhere. So yeah, I think you guys are going to be positioned well with your team. If you keep building and doing what you're doing, I think you guys next bull market could be very well set.
yeah. Thank you. Then that's
So,
that's the way to work right now. So we focus on the perfecting our product and waiting for the good time.
yep. And uh, I think um, one of the things we'll talk about here is like your new pegged tokens,
Yep.
EVIC and BVIC, so
Yeah, BB.
Ethereum and Bitcoin victory tokens. Um, I think you guys rolling those out is one of your ways you guys are going to try to capitalize on the coming bull market. Um, so, you guys have your stable UVIC token, the USDC.E victory token for the stable factor, which is great for a bear market. But then you guys are going to have EVIC and BVIC, Ethereum and Bitcoin pegged tokens to take advantage of the upward price movement when we go from bear to bull market again.
Yep.
All right, cool. Just
Yeah,
wanted to, what's that?
that is our strategy right now. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's why
so
we built BTC and ETH. Yeah.
I actually think it's really cool that you guys have both options. So a lot of the seniorage protocols are one or the other, but you guys
Yeah.
have a stable pegged token as well as now you have speculatively pegged tokens. So you can either go the stable route or you
Yeah.
can go the speculative uh, route with Bitcoin or Ethereum if you think those are going to go up in price in the future, right?
Correct. We will have more options for our investor.
Yeah. So I like that you can play either way and still play around in the champion finance ecosystem rather than like having to go to an entire other project that's doing one of those. So you guys are going to have stable or speculative options, which I like. Like right now, I'm mainly in the stable coin pegged tomb forks. So
Yep.
personally, I'm probably going to be playing around with UVic, and when I am convinced of a trend reversal, then I might dabble personally in EVIC or BVIC. Uh, that's not financial advice. That's just my strategy. Right now, I'm all about the stable coin stuff. So that's what I'm probably going to do. Um,
Yeah.
so with that being said, why did you guys? I know I probably explained a lot of this right there, but like what? Why did you pick these to be your pegged tokens?
Yes. Yeah, we already talk a lot about this, right? So we um, we want to offer more investment in option to our user with the different level of risk. You know, so if someone want to the stability, UVic is a good choice because very stable. But someone they don't want to stable. Yeah, they want a high return or something. So they believe in the ETF and the BTC will grow up. So EVIC and BVIC is the for them. That's why we have three back token to make sure that our user will have a lot of option to invest.
Cool. Yeah, and that's yeah, like I was saying, you got the stable. They want stability, or if they think Ethereum's gonna take off, they can kind of try to ride that
Yeah.
wave on EVIC, or if they are more fans of Bitcoin, when BVIC comes out, they could try maybe to ride that wave. All right, cool, good to know. And so, all right, what is your share token, champion? What is that paired with, and why?
Yeah, for the champion, we in the first time we pair to we not gonna pair. We pair with the USDC from the first time, but now we already changed to AVAX. Because uh, the champ token is not simply only the share token in our project. So we will use charm to our next product like Dex or something. And I also believe that the AVAX token will become a blue chip when the bull market return. So we will pair with the well, and I think this will benefits our holder in the long term.
Okay, so champion initially was paired with USDC, and now it is paired with wrapped AVAX,
Yeah,
and you guys are thinking in the next like year or two that will have benefit on the value of the share token champion, right?
yeah.
All right. All right. So, what happens in champion finance when one of your pegged tokens falls below peg?
Yeah, this one is same for every token, right? When the peg token fall below peg, the first one bottom will stop printing. We'll have no more peg token printing. So I think, but stop for a while is healthy for protocol as well. So um, we also have the rebase mechanism to support if the back token fall below back. Yeah.
Okay. And you can see it right here how it works. And you can read the details here uh in their white paper. If you go to rebase mechanism, and it shows the two conditions where it gets kicked on, and I think you guys have to update this with the latest update you put
This
out.
one for AVIC, this one's for AVIC. So we have the update for UVIC and EVIC.
Yeah, so UVic, so if you guys see AVIC right now,
Yeah,
mentally just change that to UVic because they just converted over from AVIC to UVic because it's more stable. and it's got taxes to make it all more sustainable. And we'll get to that one here, though, those differences in a second. But so when the TWAP, the time weighted average price, is at or below 60 cents or 60%
Yeah, 60 cents for UV.
for UVic, then the rebasing will be kicked on. Now I know it says 80 cents here, but they recently just changed that, and I just need to update their white paper with that. And
Yeah.
when TWAP is below PEG, or in this case for UVic, $1
Yeah.
for 10 consecutive epochs.
For UV it's become to 15.
15. Okay.
Yeah.
Good to know. So UVic
Yep.
will be at 15 consecutive epochs, which is 90 hours, right?
Yeah, correct.
So 90 hours below PEG, then the rebasing, the negative rebasing will turn on, bring it back up above PEG, like we see in this price action in the AVIC chart. That is very. I think it makes sense what you said. Like, it is probably healthy to go below PEG for a little bit to curb
Yep.
inflation, right?
Correct. Because in the last time the rebase is happen very often. That's why we change the condition to rebase to reduce the rebase, because the rebase is not good to, you know.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean that makes sense. So you want to limit how often that rebasing gets activated, and yeah, so that makes sense. So I know I touched on this earlier, but rebasing is like, it seems to be a bad word these days. Can you kind of explain the difference between negative rebasing and positive rebasing?
Yes. Actually, the positive rebase occurs when the price of the peg token is above the peg, and negative rebase will be used when under peg. So we can simply understand that the positive rebase will be increase the circulating supply, and negative rebase will be decrease. So for the chamber finance, we only use negative rebase when our peg token below peg.
Okay. Yeah, so for seniorage protocols, most people only think of inflation, right? The share token is inflating for, in this case, 12 months. This will be inflating. The champion supply will be emitted over the course of 12 months. Technically, it's
Yep.
inflating to until it hits its max supply. And in the boardrooms, the peg token, when above peg, will be inflated with no max supply. These are usually
Yeah.
elastic supply tokens.
Correct.
So if you're staked in the boardroom, you will be inflating the supply of the pegged token, in this case UVic, and you will be rewarded with that. And then you can either pair that with something else and farm with it to get more champion tokens and complete the seniorage cycle. Or some people sell these tokens, and then that is why you will see the price go down. And so you have positive rebasing, which makes, the quantity, the supply grow, and the price usually goes down from that. But then you have negative rebasing, which decreases and deflates the supply and makes the price go back up. Super cool that you guys are doing both. Most seniorage protocols only do the positive rebasing. They only have inflation, so the price generally goes down. And
Yeah.
the only way to combat that really is with either increased demand or with revenue sources to do buybacks and burns.
But it's very difficult right now because the bear market,
Exactly. So
Yeah.
negative rebasing, why? I mean, it makes so much sense now that I see it. Why doesn't everybody do this?
I don't know. So because every Tom Pop they use the bond, you know the bond mechanism.
Yes.
Yeah,
Unfortunately, I do. It's not. Uh, Most people don't even use the bonds
yeah,
because
correct.
they're like obsolete now.
Yeah, that's why we need a mechanism more stronger like the risk base, because we cannot force the people to use bond, right? So we use the rebate to cut off the security supply. I think it's better right now, but yeah, but it's also makes something no good for the people, because they don't really understand about risk base. That's why.
And so they don't understand about rebasing, right?
Yeah, because they see the token in the wallet already decreased. That's why they make something like, wow, why my token already lost or something.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And so that's yeah,
but
I
actually the value in the dollar is same, no change.
so in their wallet, the dollar value will remain the same when
Yeah,
it's negatively rebasing, but the quantity of the tokens they hold will
yep,
decrease,
yep,
but the price of those tokens go up. So, essentially the price times the quantity, the dollar value remains the same in their wallet.
yep,
Yeah, and I don't know. I just think it makes a lot of sense to automate bringing the price back up to peg in
yep,
a tomb fork, because those bonds, like the T bonds as they're called, and like tomb bonds, uh those they don't work. It's too much it has too much human emotion and psychology, and it relies too much on human action, where
yeah,
if people aren't buying those bonds, they end up just I mean, people will buy those bonds. There are still people holding the bonds, and they're worthless, basically. You
yep,
can't do anything with them until you're back above peg. So most people don't even bother with them because they don't want to become bag holders. So
yeah,
this way, you just take the bond away, the bond token out of the equation, and you automate
correct.
it. And
Yeah,
when you
correct.
automate it, you take the human emotion and the human psychology out of it, and it's
Yeah,
just like, all right, we hit a certain point, and then automatically we're bringing it back up to peg, right?
yeah.
Awesome. Um, so we already talked about what happens with what tokens where when the negative rebasing occurs. So we don't need to cover that again. Um, so uh okay, so what do you think the major risk or the major cost is uh if you're activating the negative rebasing mechanism too often?
Um, yeah. So actually, that it says, if we do the risk base to option, right? So everybody will think that they lost the token. Yeah, you think that they lost the token. So um, and I think it's not good, because they will make the bad motivation and the bad innovation for our user. So but in the emergency case, it's good to move back the pack. So now we are improving the pack token and mechanism to keep the above pack, and not let it happen too often. So actually, I I already tell you, right. We already changed the condition for the risk base, and to lower the price to trigger the rebase. So, and also we can make something like the turn on or turn off the rebase based on the community voting. Yeah,
Hmm. Okay. So uh so some of the risks you see are, first off, you know, uh, community education. People need to understand what's happening to the amount of tokens in their wallets when negative rebasing gets turned on, because they're going to
Yeah.
think my tokens are disappearing, and they are. And that's part of it. That's part of negative rebasing. The supply gets automatically deflated, and the price goes up. So just like positive rebasing happens automatically in your wallet, like if you're holding a positively rebasing token, like Titano or Seifu or whatever, the amount of that token in your wallet automatically goes up. So every day you get percent whatever more of those tokens in your wallet. You can literally see the quantity going up. But
Yeah.
negative rebasing is the exact opposite. You see the amount of the quantity of the token going down in your wallet, and some people might freak out and be like, "Oh my god, my tokens are being stolen." But they're not
Yeah.
being stolen. They're being rebased.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that is a risk, and I didn't think about that. So community education, but like what we are doing, is very important to let people know that's a feature, and that is why peg can be maintained so well in this seniorage protocol, because of that
Yep.
negative rebasing feature. And I think anybody getting into champion finance probably understands, hopefully they
Yeah.
understand that, unless they're just blindly just like chucking money into things.
Yeah. I think now everybody already understand about this, but now everybody very happy when it's very coming. Yeah.
Yeah, because the price goes up and the
Yeah.
boardroom turns back on.
Correct.
Yeah. So and then you said you also have the option to turn it on and off with
Yeah.
community voting,
Yeah.
and
Correct.
and you
For
guys
UVIC
actually,
for UVIC and BVIC.
for UVic and
Yeah,
BVic, and you
we
guys
have
have
the thing.
snapshot.org, and you guys have proposals here, and you actually have one open right now
Yeah.
that people can vote on, which is which LP will
We
launch
launch.
on the detonator as a service when you launch it this month, right?
Yeah. Correct.
Cool. Um, so before we get into that, though, I just want to talk about. I want to ask, why did you guys replace AVIC with UVIC, and what makes them different?
Yes. Actually, we would like to make a strong back token because for the AVIC last time we don't have any condition or any mechanism back end to keep it strong. I've already take the AVIC from the boardroom and sell all the AVIC and then make it a very weak token. So that's why we replace the AVIC with the UVIC with the more controlling mechanism to keep its double back, like selling tax and also max sell limit. We will set the maximum sell limit for every trade. So I think with all the mechanism we can make the UVIC more stronger to compare with AVIC. That's
Okay.
why we have to, yeah.
So, the selling tax on UVic is 10% when the price is between 90 cents and a dollar. It's
Yeah.
15% when it's between 80 and 90 cents. It's 20% when it's under 80 cents. And
Yeah.
any 24-hour period after the negative rebasing, there's a 30% tax. And I'm guessing that's to prevent people from trying to front run the rebasing, because the price, like, they will know once it
Yeah,
goes below that 60 cents, that price is going up, right?
yeah.
So,
Because somebody will claim the reward from the boardroom, right, and sell after rebase. That's not good for protocol as well.
and that
So
was
we
my
need
strategy. Dang it. You got me. You got me.
Yeah. I know your study. That's why we have to apply this. Yeah.
Dang it. I thought I was so smart, but you guys are one step ahead of me. Okay, well, that's smart. So you
Yeah.
guys have
Actually,
thought
we
about
cannot
this.
supply this selling tax for AVIC before because the contract for AVIC already renounced. That's why we need to change to UVIC.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that makes a lot of sense. So now I understand why
Yeah.
this is
Why?
here, because I thought I was so clever, but you guys
No
are
lah.
you guys are you guys have
You can,
adjusted.
you can keep it 24 hours more. It's no problem, right?
Yeah, and it looks like that's so you guys can kind of control that inflation and deflation and maintain it around peg with the
Yeah.
timing of these things, and it makes a lot of sense, I think, how you guys are doing it. So also big important thing to know, because there is a sell tax on the UVIC token. When you make the LP on Trader Joe or other places like that, you
Mm-hmm.
might get hit with that tax because a swap occurs. So be very careful. Do not use Trader Joe. Use the you should only buy and create LPs with UVIC on the Champion Finance homepage. Super important. I have messed this up personally on another Tomb Fork that had a sell tax, and it pissed me off so bad. I was so mad. I lost 15% because I
Yeah.
made a user error. So please, please, please use the website Champion Finance to do this stuff. It'll take you where you need to go to buy it.
Yeah.
And where can I find? Is it right here? This add LP. Is this okay? So use their feature here to add the LP. Do not do it on Trader Joe like I did in a previous project, and I lost 15% doing it. It hurt. I was pissed. I didn't know what was going on, but they didn't have documentation like you guys do.
Mm-hmm.
So
They don't
I
have
read.
documentation.
What's that?
They don't have documentation for that.
They didn't at that time. They were like just out of Genesis phase. They didn't have all their documentation done. They didn't have any warnings anywhere, and
Okay.
I got screwed basically. They were kind enough to reimburse me because I created a support ticket and I worked with their team, and they agreed, yeah, we should have had a warning up or something. But like they did after the like a few days later, but I was like, just the timing of it was unfortunate. So I want everybody to avoid my mistakes, read the
Yeah.
documentation and this bold note here, buy and create the LPs on their website on Champion. Use the links provided to add LPs and to buy, because otherwise you're gonna potentially get hit with that 15% tax, or whatever percent tax it is, depending
Yeah.
on
When
when the price. Yeah.
yeah.
So between 10 and 30% depending on the circumstances. All right. So, and that's the main difference, right, between UVIC and AVIC, right?
Yep.
Perfect. All right. Um, so we talked about EVIC and BVIC, Ethereum and Bitcoin based, and they're also going to have the cell tax with the
Yeah.
same exact structure, correct?
Yeah. Almost the same.
Okay, so make sure to use the links provided on their website to buy and pair the LPs for EVIC and for BVIC when they come out, when BVIC comes out. So, all right, and we already talked about the differences, like why you guys have EVIC and BVIC. Give everybody different options based on their personal strategies. And does the negative rebasing happen to EVIC, and will it also happen to BVIC when BVIC comes
Yeah.
out?
Yeah. Of course. Risk is very important, and we will use in the BVIC and EVIC as well.
Have you used it on EVIC yet?
Haven't we? The EVIC, I think will be around, because now EVIC is under peg, but maybe it's in around two epoch next we will use the first time for rebase.
Okay.
Yeah.
And if I go to the EVIC boardroom, I will see some more stats here. EVIC has had 100 total epochs.
Yes. The epoch under peg is now 12, so we have 3 more epoch to trigger rebase.
Okay. Okay, good to know.
Yeah, this is the
And
first.
so 3 more epochs if it's under peg, and it will kick on and go above peg. So EVIC and BVIC both have the innovative negative rebasing technology implemented, so that's very cool.
Yep.
And that's awesome, because if Ethereum, for instance, goes to like $2,000 or $5,000, then your protocol automatically, according to the rules we talked about, at some point, if buy pressure and demand doesn't keep up, then the protocol itself will bring it back up to peg. So hence, if Ethereum 10x's, EVIC here after 15 epochs or whatever, if people aren't buying it like crazy to keep up, it's just gonna go up automatically.
Yeah,
that's cool, why we
get and BTC.
And dude, all right. So with that being said, if I personally think that that Ethereum's going to go up, like if I think we're going into the bull market, and I think Ethereum's going to 10x over the next year, right? Personal, not financial advice, personal opinion. Blah blah blah. Anything could happen. I don't know. I'm not a financial advisor. Okay. If I stake a bunch of champion here and I have a ton of EVIC stacked up, say I've got 10 EVIC, and for the record, people who don't know yet, EVIC is 1-to-1 with Ethereum. So at peg, 1 EVIC would equal 1 Ethereum, right?
Correct.
So there, if it's at peg, that would be 1 EVIC would equal the same price as 1 Ethereum. And if I've got 10 EVIC here in the boardroom unclaimed, and Ethereum goes to $10,000, and then EVIC has negative rebasing to bring that price up to $10,000, and I have just left these here. Just imagine I have just forgotten about these, and I come back in like a year or something, and these are unclaimed, and I've got 10 EVIC sitting here, and oh my goodness, Ethereum's worth 10. Then I could claim these, and I would have the quantity that would be here at that price of like, let's say $10,000, and then that'd be like $100,000, right? That'd be crazy. Now I'm not saying that's gonna happen or whatever, but it's possible. Now obviously that might not be the best strategy, because you could be putting this EVIC to work during that time. Like right here, you could pair that EVIC with Ethereum and be getting more EVIC. Dude, all right, I figured it out. I'm going to take half of the rewards, put them in Yield Wolf to auto compound, stake that here, and then EVIC's going to be going here, and then I would take half of that and like recompound it and leave some in here, and then I would get like, anyway, I'm gonna have to get some spreadsheets going and like try to figure out the optimal strategy in a bull run scenario. And you guys actually have a strategy here. So, one of the questions I have here is like, what do you think is the best strategy? I know obviously you're not a financial advisor either, and you can't like give But like in your opinion,
Yep.
what's your strategy um with Champion Finance? How are you playing it?
Yeah, actually, the I think the best strategy now is the LP because we had the booster pool, right? And if you make the LP with the Ethereum and also BTC and also USDC, you have a half of risk because you only need a half of UVIC, BVIC or EVIC, and the half is the ETH and BTC. So the risk is very less as well.
Hmm.
Either you can use the LP to stake in the farm and also use to auto compound and then to out boost the pool. The API will be very high. That's why, yeah, that's why. And also, if you make the LP, you can have to keep the protocol very healthy.
Okay.
Yeah,
So, um, your favorite strategy is LP farming
yeah,
and
LP farming and in the booster pool,
in the
and that's
booster
much.
pool, which is
Yeah,
which is in the boardroom. So
yeah, correct.
that is also going to be probably what I do is I'm going to go crazy here on the boardroom because
Yeah,
you're one of the few people who are uh above peg basically ever, right? Right in the bear market at least. Like you and Dex Finance are the only people who seem to be regularly stay above peg.
yeah,
Um and that's because you have automated uh the this whole procedure to bring it back up to peg. And so that means, unlike a lot of the other seniorage protocols right now, where the boardroom is a ghost town, you actually have action happening in your boardroom. So when you say your best strategy is these crazy high rewards
yeah.
in the boardroom, like you're actually having
Yeah,
your boardroom's actually printing.
yeah, but of course, it's not financial advice, and also we will have the we are building the auto investment strategy. So
Mm.
later on, we can give the investor the auto investment depend on the risk, and our investor can choose the best investment strategy for them.
So when you say uh auto strategy,
Yeah, we are
then
building the
that's not is that a feature that's coming soon?
yeah.
Okay. Okay. So rather like you guys have this whole I actually like how you guys have this strategy page here where you say um here's like
For
a
this, I think we need to update more on this because this for the a week.
yeah.
Yeah, for the yeah, a long time ago. We have
Okay.
to update this. Yeah,
So, but it's cool that you have this because a lot of people new to seniorage protocols, especially, they might not understand what the optimal strategies are, different ways they can do this when TWAP is at these different
yeah, correct.
values. So this is cool. It's basically like uh, you know, you
This one
recom
is like the instructions for the newcomer. Yeah,
yeah, so it's like it's basically saying, compound some of it, take some profit, right? Like,
yeah,
and I think a lot of people do like a whole like 80-20 is pretty popular. And I think that's what basically what you guys are saying, like 80-20 rule, like recompound 80, take 20% as profit, just keep doing that. Um, and that works
yeah,
for a lot of people. So, not financial advice. Figure out your own strategies. It's really fun actually clicking through here and looking at all the different ways you can play this. This,
yeah,
to me, Tomb Forks are a very fun game for me, and I'm always trying to maximize my gains in this game. And you guys have so many options to do it, and I can't help it. I am an APR chaser, so I will probably be right here, right in the UVic uh, Yield Wolf LP receipt token booster pool in the
yeah,
UVic boardroom, which has 9 It's been fluctuating between like 9 and 11% tonight, daily rewards. So that's crazy. I'm probably gonna mess around in there, see if I can't get a bunch of UVIC stacked up while I can, and then also I'm probably going to move over into the Chamely pool for the next
Yeah,
11 days or so, because I'm assuming the UVIC boardroom APRs are going to come down a bit because UVIC's very new and above peg by quite a bit, right? Like when we were talking earlier, like this is it was over twice peg when you because you guys just launched it and everything and the liquidity was so low. But so that boardroom value, just to be fully clear, is probably because this
yeah.
reward token is priced in UVIC. So those percents you see are based
We will
on
do
the
yeah.
price of the reward token. So these will probably come down a little more as UVIC gets closer to peg, which is right here about $1. So I'm guessing it's probably going to even out somewhere around 8% maybe. We can look at AVIC boardroom to kind of get a good idea of what we can see. Um, Now AVIC boardroom doesn't have the booster pools.
Yes, we already stopped this one. The
Okay,
epic boardroom is stopped. Okay, so we don't use this anymore.
got it. Okay. And then EVIC, which is a little bit under peg, I think.
Yep.
We're seeing right here. Okay, about 5% daily
Yeah.
in the booster pool for the LP receipt token, Yield Wolf receipt token booster pool right here. So 5% and it's under peg. So when EVIC and 3 more epochs, negative rebasing kicks on, we're going to
Wow.
see this percent probably go up, right?
Yeah. You are
Cool.
very smart guy.
Thanks, man. I told you when we started talking a few weeks ago, I told you I was going to do my homework. I I went through your 40-page white paper a few times and I really tried to wrap my head around this because I consider myself an advanced Tomb Fork user at this point, and even for me, this is next level, right? This is layers on layers that I've never thought about before. So I'm
Yeah.
learning new things and I'm seeing new opportunities that present themselves in this type of a new model.
Thank you.
Uh yeah, so very fun, man. This is like to me this is like a new game that is like a variation on like my favorite type of game, but it's like a new one that's never been done like this before and
Yep.
it looks like there are some really fun ways to play this. And like just right there, like normally people are in this bear market are used to these APRs always going down.
Yeah.
And the fact that I just like noticed like, hey, wait a second, when negative rebasing kicks on and brings EVIC back up to peg,
Yeah. Yeah. Correct.
this APR, this percent is going to actually go up and my boardroom rewards are going to be higher than
Yeah.
advertised here, which I think is very exciting. That's super exciting to me. Um so man, that's awesome. I love seeing that. Now can you kind of explain the Chamely pool? So and and what is Chamely? I always hear you saying Chamely and Chamely pool. What is Chamely?
Yes. Okay. Actually, family is the name we use for our community because it's like we call it champion family, and we call
Champion
it champion
family, the Chamely. I like
family.
it.
Yeah. So the family pool is the special pools we developed at the center time to build a deep liquidity and the incentive feature. Example for this case is the AVIC. So the first one will be used for AVIC, and we will have the later family pool by over time. So
So are you
uh,
going? So right now the Chamely pool is
It's for
only for AVIC,
yeah, yeah.
and are you going to have more Chamely pools for like UVic, EVic, and BVic?
Yes, we are thinking about it, and we maybe have the family pool for UVic and BVic in the next
Okay.
time. Yeah,
Okay. So when this ends in 11 days, users can anticipate another Chamely pool at some point in the future, right?
yeah, correct.
Okay. How does this work?
Yes, actually, this one we allow the people to stake the LP to the family pool, and we lock in the family pool around 30 days.
Oh, okay.
It's like a detonator, but we lock only the 30 day.
Hmm.
Yeah,
I
and
see.
then we take some token from DAO fund to reward the people. It's like you can see here that we reward the charm token, AVIC token, and also from DAO fund.
Okay.
And yeah, basically the user will always earn the reward from the farm, and also they can earn more reward from the family pool.
I see.
Yeah,
So this will be uh printing even when this is below peg, right?
yeah,
Okay. And this APR is like over 5%. So, normally you only get to see APRs like that in a boardroom when it's printing. But
yep.
the Chamely pool is allowing people to get those same percents for this limited time period if they
Yeah,
stake it for the 30 days. But I'm guessing if I staked some right now, it would unstake in 11 days, right?
yeah, correct.
Okay.
Yeah,
And then also, this is auto compounding as well because this,
yeah.
I'm a,
This one actually, yes, we take the token from the year work, and also is also already auto compound in year work.
okay. So if I wanted to do that one, I would have to go over to Yield Wolf here and
Correct.
stake some AVIC USDC LP. I would take that receipt token and then I would stake it in here for the remainder of this time.
Yeah, correct.
Cool. All right, got it. So that's the Chamley pool, and and then you're working on the auto investment vaults, the auto vaults that'll automate a strategy so people don't have to come in here and click around every day. They can just set it at
Yeah,
whatever compounding and profit taking levels they want in whichever farms and boardroom pools they want, and then just leave it and it'll just do its thing.
yeah.
Okay.
Because yeah, after we will on the BVIC, we will have the for token and around a lot of pool, right? A lot of pool.
A
So
lot
it's
of
very,
pools.
yeah, very complicated for the new people to come and invest. That's
Yeah.
why we will make the auto investment vows to allow the people they can choose the vow depend on the risk level. That's why that's easy for our user.
Yeah, I like that. And I think that will help new users big time. Um,
Yeah.
and also, will it help people save gas in the long run? Do you know?
Sorry.
Do you know if it will save on gas tokens?
Yes, correct, correct.
Cool.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that's another.
That's can save a
I
lot.
I like that. I mean, even though Avalanche network, gas is so cheap, but when you guys move to like Binance Smart Chain, those gas fees add up, and
Yeah,
so that's cool that you're gonna have the auto strategies because that'll save
yeah.
people over the
Although
long
it,
run tens
although
of
it's the
dollars
small,
probably. Sorry.
yeah. Although it's the more gas in the Avalanche, but if we do a lot of transaction when we combine, it's very big. That's why for this part we can save the gas fee for user.
Yeah. Okay. I see.
Yeah,
So depending on the network, you might have to come up with a slightly different auto strategy smart contract because
Yep.
of the gas usage and optimization based on the gas prices on those different networks, right?
Yep.
Okay, got it. All right, so I will keep I will keep on a lookout for that. When do you think auto strategies will be ready on AVAX?
Actually, we are building this, and maybe we will launch the autos investment in November. Yeah, we
Okay,
can launch in November because now a lot of things in our hand. Detonator, ETF. Yeah, that's why we need a little bit time.
got it. Okay. So speaking of the detonator, you said that'll be coming out this month, and you guys are partnering with EMP to make that happen, right?
Yeah, correct. Now we are working with EMP. I'm working with AZ to for the detonator. So it will be launched this month.
Awesome. I love that detonator contract. I think it's very clever. I think AJ and his team have done an excellent job on that, and I am happy to see other protocols taking advantage of it because I think in a seniorage protocol especially it can really do wonders uh, for building that protocol own liquidity and increasing stability.
Yeah, correct.
Um, Yeah, so we talked about the decks coming out, and that's about all my questions that I had out here. The only thing we didn't really touch upon is the nodes. You've got nodes that aren't traditional, like tomb fork nodes. A lot of these nodes we see are forever. You're locked up forever, but these are temporary, right?
Yeah, correct.
So you have the option to lock for 1 week, 2 weeks, or 3 weeks. And after that time is up, you can unstake and take your tokens elsewhere if you want, right?
Yeah, people can unstake and sell them, but I think now nobody want to unstake from the nodes because they just put there and yeah, go to sleep.
Yeah. And
Yeah, no
the
need to worry about nodes.
yeah, and the rebasing, the negative rebasing doesn't affect the nodes. So
Correct.
if that gets kicked on while you're staked in here, you actually maintain the same amount of tokens. So
Yeah,
if man,
and
that's
in the
in
same time, you are still earning more charm token from the
if
node.
if you guys ever release EVIC or BVIC nodes, I might just keep
Uh,
rolling it over every 3 weeks during the bull market if it's just like going up. Not financial advice, but I saw the cringe on your face. You're like, no, don't do that.
yeah, actually, we will not we don't have the nodes for the EVIC and BVICs.
If you
Yeah,
do someday, though, I'm
yeah.
gonna try to take advantage of it if you guys ever do that.
We will try to look for some other innovative like detonator or something. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea.
Yep.
Um, all right. So, how do you guys plan to go cross chain with this?
Yes, we need to complete everything on AVEX first, and if after completing everything and everything is going well, we will go to multi-chain and attract more people and more fun to our project. So we are thinking about the Polygon and Binance Smart Chain.
Okay, so you're thinking next you'll probably go to Polygon.
Yeah,
Okay.
Polygon and also Binance Smart Chain.
And I love Binance Smart Chain. I do so much on it. That's like my favorite chain. There's just so much to
Yeah.
do on it. Uh
So you have a lot of fun there.
I have so much fun there, man. There's just so much money
Wow.
flying around on Binance Smart Chain and uh yeah, a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Gas is more expensive than on Avalanche or on Polygon, but there is more overall capital
Mm-hmm.
on Binance Smart Chain. So
Yep.
a lot of big projects there. Um, yeah, but I'm glad you guys are
Okay.
thinking about going over there eventually because that's a lot of money to be found on Binance Smart Chain. A lot of people
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's our reason. So when we go there, I can have a whale. It's you, right?
What's that?
So later, when we move to Binance Smart Chain, we already have one whale. It's you.
Yeah, that's right. When you guys get to Binance Smart Chain, I will be a whale by then. You'll see, man, and may you'll see. Maybe the Chamely will help me get there.
Yeah.
But yeah, so my goal is to be a whale as soon as possible, and hopefully by the time you guys get there, I'll be a whale. And if you guys have some Genesis pools going on Binance Smart Chain at that point, maybe
Yeah.
I will get in on that, because I hear if you get in on the Genesis pools, you can make a lot of money. And Tomb Forks, I generally don't play the Genesis pools because of paranoia with
Mhm.
the risks of potentially scammers and stuff. However, if you're already a trustworthy team, uh, then if you guys have new Genesis pools, then I'd consider actually playing the Genesis
Yes,
pools.
we have. Yeah, we will have the Genesis pool for PV in the, I think, 2 or 3 day more, and especially in the Champion Finance, we do Genesis pool with no fee.
Nice.
Yeah, totally no fee. So we don't need any fee to attend our Genesis. So yeah, welcome. I really love that you can invest in our Genesis to take some free VV token.
Yeah, BVIC Genesis pool is coming soon, so I gotta factor that in, because I am probably gonna toss some tokens in here and play around. So if you guys, I'm gonna have to factor that into my strategy. If you guys are launching BVIC in the next few days, I might get in on that Genesis pool. Like I said, I almost never do Genesis pools because I don't trust new teams and new projects generally.
Yeah,
But if I know the team already, and you guys have a good track record that's clean, like
yep.
like you guys do. You guys have been out here for months now, and you guys have a clean track record as far as I know. You guys are all KYC and audited already. Then I might actually play in your latest Genesis pool coming up. Very cool, man. I'm excited to hear that. I'm probably gonna do that. And yeah, do you have anything else? Do you have any other grand plans hidden up your sleeves that we haven't covered yet?
Yes, actually we have the hero plans, but I think we will have a lot of email later, right? So I will keep it in it's as my script right now, so we can talk about it later. Yeah,
Oh, so you got huge plans, but you want to kind of keep it
in my
secret right
yeah
now to give some surprises, because you guys
yeah
already have a lot coming out. That's and I actually I don't want to act like I don't know. I know what you guys have planned, and if you're
yeah
active in the community, you probably know of some of this stuff too. But for now, we will keep that under wraps for next time, because we are going to probably do some more AMAs like this to cover those new things you have coming out. But
yeah, absolutely.
man, I think that's all I got. Like I said, I typed up a whole bunch. Like I just went through like 50 questions at least with you, and at covering your like 40 pages of documentation. Man, this was a doozy. This was a very involved AMA for me, because I put in so much work preparing for them. This was a lot that you guys have here. So uh but that's all I have for you right now. Do you have anything else that you want to tell the audience before we wrap this up?
Yeah, okay. Firstly, I want to say thank you, Alex, because I think you are the most people who understand about our project.
Thank you.
Yeah, and yeah, thank you for your questions, and also um yeah, we will have a lot of things to develop and bring more value to our investor, and I hope with this MA, the the people can understand about our project and can come and enjoy with us. And yeah, so I'm sorry if my English is not really good. So we have mentioned very clearly in our document as well. So you guys can go there and check about us. And if you have any unclear, you can make some question in our server, and we will try to answer. Yeah, that's all. And thank you.
Yeah, and you're very welcome. Thank you for all of the time that you have spent with me
Yeah,
preparing for this AMA. I know I have asked you a million questions behind the scenes, and
yeah,
even though you do have an accent, I understand you. I think very well. And I think everything, especially if you read your documentation, everything is really laid out there and written very clearly, like you said. So everybody check out the documentation. Also, check them out on Twitter, Telegram, and Discord. The Discord is very active. A lot of announcements basically every day. Uh, Daily updates just about. Yeah, so Arron, thank you so much for all the time you've spent with me today and over the past few weeks, and thank you to all of my viewers. I hope you learned a lot from this one. I know this was a longer AMA. We are over 2 hours already, but
yeah.
it is basically this AMA is a one-stop shop for champion finance as it exists today, and with what you have coming very soon. So. Yeah, thanks Arron again. I will talk with you later. Look out for this video in the next day or two, and yeah, I'll see you later, okay?
Yeah, thank you, Alex.
All right.
Yeah, thank you for the support. Yeah,
Yeah, and thank you again everyone for watching. Find the links to
thank
the stuff
you.
in the description below. I'll see
Yeah,
you all later. Bye.
yeah. See you later.